Yes.
Okay. Now, the motive.
And so Michael Skakel and his brother Tommy Skakel were always adversarial. They fought and didn't like each other, really.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Skakel thought that the new girl next door, or across the road, was his girlfriend, and he thought Tommy was sort of moving in on his grounds. And for years, Tommy Skakel was the main suspect in this case. He was the last one to have seen her, to have been seen with her.
The theory of her being killed is, why was she killed?
Well, that Michael saw Tommy making out with her. And he had a golf club that had belonged to a set of golf clubs that had belonged to his mother, who had died a year or 2 years before this murder happened.
So it was jealousy.
That's my take on it, Larry. Yes.
But he didn't harm his brother.
Did not harm his brother, and you know, this is a very interesting thing. I mean, it seems, this has not come up in the trial yet, but it seems that the brother could have helped him move Martha, because she was moved 80 feet from where she was hit. Yeah.
So there could be two people involved.
There could be two.
Okay. Now today, we are told that two former friends of the cousin, Michael Skakel, testified that he admitted being at the crime scene the night that Martha Moxley was murdered, but that he never actually confessed to killing her.
Yeah, that's right. He admitted being there, and he admitted masturbating in the tree. It was a little confusing as to which of the trees he masturbated in, the one outside her window or the one under which her body was found. And that was a very interesting thing that happened in court today, Larry, in that Michael Meredith was one of the witnesses on a trial. He is the son of Don Meredith. And he's 34 years old today, so he was younger than Michael. They had both been to the Elan school, but not at the same time. And they met when they were both working for Joe Kennedy's campaign to get into Congress, and they had in common with each other the fact that they'd been to this nightmare school called the Elan School. And
was it Don Meredith's son that testified that Michael said he was at the scene?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll be right back with more of Dominic Dunn. He's with us for the full hour, taking your calls later. We'll get an update on the Blake case as well. He's right on top of the Skakel case, of course. Dominic Dunn is our guest. Tomorrow night, Marlo Thomas. Wednesday night, Vice President Cheney. We'll be right back.
This jury is not stupid. They are not going to make the leap that because Michael liked Martha, that if she liked Tommy more, then he's going to brutally murder her in the most savage and sadistic way we've ever seen. It takes a bunch of light years to leap that far, and I don't think this jury's going to buy it.
Larry King Live is brought to you by the Commonwealth of Virginia. When it happens in business, it will happen in Virginia. Virginia is for business.
We've invited you here to announce a major breakthrough, the result of ongoing R&D at our Virginia facility. So, with great pride, we unveil something that not only revolutionizes our industry, it revolutionizes everything.
When it happens in business, it will happen in Virginia. That's direct investing. That's Harris Direct.
Trial, Geneva. Available at Bailey Banks and Biddle.
One lap in the Q is all it takes. Of course, the critics insisted on a few more. The 340 horsepower Q45 from Infiniti.
The first solo international trip for the First Lady. I'm Paula Zahn. On the next American Morning, a rare interview with Laura Bush from Prague. We'll talk to her about her trip through Europe and her thoughts on what some are calling the 9/11 blame game. That's tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern.
Tonight, the World Trade Center and its final days of cleanup. An unforgettable conversation with the workers and an insider's look at the closing of Ground Zero. Newsnight with Aaron Brown, 10 Eastern, CNN Tonight.
As we come back, you see Michael Skakel on the left there, heading into court with his attorney for proceedings to take place today. The court that Dominic Dunn is covering this trial in, and Dominic joined. There have been statements by some that Michael confessed this to others. Is that true?
Yeah, but he usually says, though, that I think I did it in a blackout. So, you know, nobody has yet said he actually confessed to it. Now, there was one of the witnesses who died subsequently. He was in the hearings. Said that Michael said that I will get away with this because I'm a Kennedy. And it was interesting today, he died, that guy, and he was of a bad overdose, an overdose of bad heroin. And his widow, from whom he was estranged, was in court today, and she totally backed up the story that he told.
The puzzlement in all of this is, it would seem the prosecution's got a difficult road to hoe with a case this old.
Very, very difficult, and you know, you keep hoping there's going to be a smoking gun along the way. So far, I haven't seen it, but there's been a great accumulation of people to whom he seems to have confessed. And I was just telling you about this guy, Michael Meredith, who was on the stand today. A very colorful guy. He was 34 years old. He was much younger than Michael and had not been to Elon at the same time. And they had met in Joe Kennedy's campaign, become friends. He'd moved into the Skakel house for the summer. He had never heard of the murder. And then when Michael told him the story, he left the next day and had never seen Michael again. And then which is kind of a strange thing.
How about the defense seeming to point to an alternative suspect, Ken Littleton, the tutor who testified for the prosecution? The defense is implying he may be the culprit.
Oh yeah, but that was nonsense. I mean, they proved, you know, if they could have blamed this on Ken Littleton, the tutor, who was a teacher in the prep school that the boys went to, and Skakel hired him to move in. The Skakel family, they were totally unsupervised. And this guy, it was his first night on the job, and for 25 years they've been trying to lay it on him, and it's ruined his life. He's a drunk and has been and so forth, a drunk and a drugger and everything since. But they showed this thing where they put him in a room in the hotel, in a Howard Johnson's motel outside Boston, and the police did, and they bugged the room, and they got his ex-wife to tell him that he had confessed during a blackout, which he had never done. And so I think he's out of the picture as a suspect.
Are the Kennedys involved? Is Ethel Kennedy there? Are they showing public support?
Well, there's been a rumor that they were going to be there, Robert Jr. and Ethel and I don't know who others, but they have not, there have been no Kennedys there so far. There are many Skakels there, and the Skakels today did the thing that the Kennedys often do. They had a priest in a Roman collar sitting in the front row of the courthouse. It's something that I, as a Catholic, I object to terribly, to see a priest being used as a prop to show the jury what a wonderful family they are. And that really annoys me.
These days, that'd not be the best prop.
That's exactly right. That's there's that to be said. Yes.
But you would say then the odds would be against the prosecution winning this one because of the length of time.
No, I don't want to say that. I mean, I don't want to say that. But it's a tough road for them, I think, unless there is a smoking gun.